Hello, fourth grade. Today we're going to work on mixed numbers and changing mixed numbers into equivalent fractions. So right here I have the mixed number 2 1/2. And I want to change this to a fraction to see how many halves I have. Okay, so I know that I have 1/2 here, but I can change each of my wholes into halves. It's 2 halves, and then 2 more halves for this whole. So I have 2, 4, 5. So 2 1/2 equals 5 halves. Okay, or if I just have 1 1/2, 1 1/2 equals 2 3 halves. 3 halves. Okay, those are what we call improper fractions, where the numerator is larger than the denominator. Here I have 2 halves. 2 halves is also an improper fraction. We know that 2 halves equals 1. Okay, so improper fractions have a larger numerator than the denominator, or a numerator that's the same as the denominator. All right, let's look at another mixed number. This time I'm going to make 3 1/3. And I want to change that to an improper fraction. So here I have 3 1/3. Now I know, this time I'm going to do thirds because I have a third here. I know that each whole equals 3/3. So there's 3/3 equals 1 whole, and 3/3 equals another whole, and then 3/3 equals my last whole. So now I'm going to count how many thirds I have all together. So I have 3, 6, 9, 10. So 3 1/3 equals 10 thirds. Okay, if I have 2 1/3, that equals 3, 6, 7. 7 thirds. Okay, 1 1/3 would equal 4 thirds. 3, 4. 4 thirds. Okay, now let's take another mixed number. This time I'm going to take 1 4/6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 4/6. So I would like to know how many sixths are in 1 4/6. So I know that I already have 4/6, and then this whole, if it's sixths, I know there are 6 of them. Oops, I'll grab another one. Okay, so that's 6 plus 4 equals 10. 10 sixths equals 1 4/6. All right, I also can look at a number line. Here I've made 2 number lines here. This number line goes from 0 to 4. And I have labeled the whole numbers and the mixed numbers, and then I've counted by halves. So let's look here at 1 1/2. I can see that that is 1/2, 2 halves, which is 1, and then 3 halves, which is 1 1/2. It's 0 to 1/2, and then 2 halves, 3 halves, which is 1 1/2. If I look down at 2 1/2, I see that's 5 halves. If I look at 3, that's 6 halves. 3 1/2 is 7 halves. We have another number line here with fourths, counting by fourths from 0 to 3. Okay, so here are my whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, they're written in green. Then I have my mixed numbers written in red, and I have my improper fraction, or my fractions, they start with proper and then go to improper fractions on top in blue. So I'm counting by fourths, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4 are 1, 5/4, which is 1 1/4, 6/4, 1 2/4, 7/4, 1 3/4, 8/4 is 2, 9/4 is 2 1/4, 10/4 is 2 2/4, 11/4 is 2 3/4, and 12/4 is 3. Right, now, let's look in your workbook on page 173. You're only going to do the top 12, 1 through 12. You have to change each of these mixed numbers to an improper fraction. So the first one is 3 1/3. Now you are going to draw a model for each of these. So for number 1, So it's 3 1/3. That means that you need to have 3 holes. It's 1, 2, 3, but 3 1/3 is more than 3. So draw another one. Now we're going to divide each of these into thirds because that's my denominator. Thirds, 3, so into thirds. All right, so I have 3 1/3, which means that I need to shade in all my thirds on 3 of them. There's 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes. There's my 3. And then 1/3. 1/3. 3 1/3. So now I need to count my thirds. So I have 3, 6, 9, 10. So 3 1/3 equals 10 thirds. So I want you to draw the picture and write the fraction. All right, let's look at number 2. Number 2 is 1 7/8. So you're going to draw 2 circles because you need 1 hole, but 1 7/8 is more than 1. Okay, so we need to divide these circles, and this is 1 7/8. I need to divide my circles into eighths because my denominator is 8. All right, I have 8 sections. All right, this one is whole, so all 8 sections need to be filled in. So there's 1, and then 7/8. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. So 1 7/8. Now I need to count my eighths. There's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 1 7/8 equals 15 eighths. Okay, and I'll do one more with you. Let's see. I'm going to do number 4. 5 1/5. 5 1/5. Okay, so far I've drawn circles. This time I'm going to draw rectangles because you don't have to draw circles. So I'm going to do rectangles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But 5 1/5 is more than 5, so I'm going to have to draw a last one. Now I have to divide these into fifths. Remember, you're going to draw a picture on all of these. This is the third one I've done for you. So there are only 9 that you have left to do on your own because you're only doing the top part. You're not doing the bottom part yet. Just the top part. Okay, so I need to show 5 1/5. So I need to shade in 5 hole. So I have 5 hole. This is 1. This is the second hole. Here's my third hole. There's the fourth one. And 5. Each of these has 5/5 shaded in. Okay, and then this last one has 1/5. So these are all 5/5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, plus 1 is 26. So this equals 26 fifths. So you have to do the rest of those. You have to draw your pictures, shade in, now, and then write how many of the fraction you have. Now, for instance, on number 5, 9 2/3, you're going to have to draw 10 figures because 9 won't be enough because 9 2/3 is greater than 9. So your last circle or rectangle, whatever shape you have, will not be filled in all the way. Okay, so 1 through 12, but you have to draw a model for all of them.